Cindy Lauper, 98.7 WFGR. Those girls, they just want to have fun. That's what they want to do. Day 21, Andy O, Dave Cackley, and it's time to talk about our October project for the We Difference, which is the Epilepsy Foundation of Michigan. We had the opportunity to meet Gary Ball, the communications director for the Epilepsy Foundation of Michigan. Wasn't that correct? Isn't that your title, Gary?
Close, and outreach coordinator.
Outreach coordinator.
Okay.
Move
That's
right up
close.
and good and close on that mic.
Okay.
There you go. We talked, was it, seemed like it was the spring that you came by, and we talked a little bit about epilepsy and that kind of stuff. It's getting closer and closer to your big fundraiser coming up at the City Flats Hotel, so let's revisit some of this stuff. Epilepsy. Kind of a scary thing because a lot of people don't understand a whole lot about it.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about, early warning signs of epilepsy, et cetera, and so forth.
Well, of course, epilepsy is also known as a seizure disorder.
Seizure
in a lot of
disorder,
cases.
Yep.
A lot of folks will call it. They'll say they don't have epilepsy; they have a seizure disorder. Epilepsy is also it's basically a medical condition that produces seizures. It's like an electrical storm in the brain.
Right.
It can start at any time. I mean, it doesn't discriminate against age or anything else. A lot of people think about epilepsy and a seizure as what's known as a tonic-clonic, which is the one where you see the classic people falling down. They're jerking all over
And
the
they're
place.
shaking.
Shaking.
Grand mal seizures.
It's called a grand mal as well. But you can also have one as simple as a stare. It's called an absent seizure, an absent seizure, and it's 3 to 5 seconds of just staring off into space.
Really?
So you run the gamut between those two. But epilepsy is diagnosed when you have 2 or more unprovoked seizures.
Okay.
So you can have a seizure, but you don't necessarily have to have epilepsy.
I actually had my brother-in-law on his wedding day, my sister, and he had just gotten married, and they were on their honeymoon, and he had a seizure. He had a grand mal seizure, and apparently it was due to head injuries can bring these on. It was like a head injury that he'd had like 15 years ago.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I think is it like 20 years in between where that can happen?
It can happen at any time. We're seeing a lot of the newly diagnosed people with epilepsy are vets coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan.
Really? So it's like a post-traumatic.
Well, and what happens is the IED goes off and they get bounced around inside the Humvee, and they're fine except the fact that the brain has moved in places it's not supposed to. And we're even seeing some instances now happening, you're right, 10, 20 years later almost, from Desert Storm, which was 91, 92.
Right.
You know what I really don't like about that? The fact that he just said Desert Storm was within 20 years.
Yeah.
I remember that. 20 years ago? Really?
Good God.
Am I that old?
Yes, you are.
Has it happened that fast?
No, you're not that old. It's just, you're stuck in time.
Oh, good. All right, fair. Good enough. Yeah, good.
But there are you're looking at 1 in 26 people will actually be diagnosed with epilepsy in their lifetime. So
no kidding.
It is ranked 4th most common neurological disorder in the United States, behind migraine, stroke, Alzheimer's disease.
No kidding.
Amazing.
So it's up there, but it's one of those that a lot of people don't want to talk about.
Sure. I mean, it's kind of an embarrassing thing if somebody. I mean, because it's one of those things when if something like this happens, nobody around you knows how to react. Tell me, if somebody were to see somebody having a seizure, what do you do? If you're there at work and somebody starts into their seizure or whatever, how do you react to that?
Rule number 1: don't panic.
Okay.
Rule number 2 is check your watch.
Yep.
And I'll tell you why. Because you want to be able to start timing that seizure.
Yep.
The biggest thing you do is make sure that they don't hurt themselves.
Right.
One of the biggest don'ts is do not put anything in their mouth. You can't swallow your tongue.
Right.
Physically impossible to swallow your tongue. And that's been one of the biggest myths. You don't put anything in their mouth at all, but you get them on their side.
Yep.
Make sure there's nothing around that they can hurt themselves. Don't restrain them. Let them go.
Yep.
I guess, if you will, the good thing and the bad thing about having a seizure is they don't know what's going on.
Right.
They can't hear you. They can't respond. And you can tell them all day long to calm down, and it's not going to do any good. They don't hear you. So the good thing is they don't know what's going on. The bad thing is they don't know what's going on.
Right.
But that's the main thing. Make sure they're unrestrained, nothing in there. If they're wearing a tie or something, loosen it a little bit. if it's something that they're walking and suddenly it starts to get them to the ground as much as, and get them on their side. And let them, if they drool, they drool. You just keep them safe. And I'd mentioned timing it because if a typical seizure is going to last about 3 minutes or so. If it goes beyond 5, that's when you call 911.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you know they have epilepsy, it's the first time and there's no indication that they've ever had it, then you might want to call 911 then.
Is it something that people that are afflicted with epilepsy, is it something they should talk about with their coworkers? Should they be out front about it and say, hey, look, here's the thing? Because a lot of personal stuff, health issues, you don't want to bring up at work, but if this could happen, should they tell their coworkers?
They should. Here's the problem.
Yep.
Legal or not, here is the problem. Once they admit
Disclose.
that they have disclose that they have epilepsy, then there are all kind of issues at work. We get cases all the time of people that have said, hey, listen, I have epilepsy, and that's it. They find a reason to
get rid of them,
not have them around anymore. Yes, and that's a sad thing because a lot of people with epilepsy are
very productive.
Number one, very productive.
Yeah.
In your guys' world, Neil Young, I think he's a pretty productive guy.
Yeah,
he's
epileptic.
Yes, he has epilepsy.
I did not know that.
It just came out. Rick on Pawn Stars.
Yeah, Rick.
Okay. I can't remember his last name.
I can't either. But Pawn
Anyhow,
Stars.
he just came out that he has. It's
he's just
terrible,
been outed.
He's just been outed that he has epilepsy.
Wow.
So
double-edged sword
people
type.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah. Disclose, don't disclose. They should know.
Yeah.
We do a lot, and one of the things that we do as a foundation is we will do training. We'll go into businesses, schools, EMTs, you name it, and train them on epilepsy first aid.
You've got a big fundraiser coming up over at the City Flats Hotel. Let's talk a little bit about this.
Yes, we do. Next Thursday, October 24th, starting at 6:30 in the evening, City Flats Ballroom. It's called Toasting Hope. It is a beer and wine event.
Nice. Okay.
Okay, got your attention.
Yeah,
We're going to have 80 premier beers, 80 wines, and 40 different craft beers. And we've got those segmented from local craft to Michigan and then Midwest.
Okay.
Price of a ticket is $75, and you get to sample them all.
Nice.
That is awesome.
Look at that, dude. For $75, you could go on
deal.
Vander. Wouldn't that be fun?
And it's
a good time next Friday morning, won't you?
Definitely. I will. Yes.
You'll be going solo next Friday morning.
I probably will.
I come in hungover or not, I'm here. It's in my contract. Dave has to show up when he's hungover.
Are tickets still available for the big Shadoo?
Yes, they are. They are available. $75. epilepsymichigan.org.
Okay.
And it's scrolling across the top, and you can order your tickets there. There's a phone number you can call in and order them as well if you don't want to get them online. And they are $85 at the door. So even the night of, we'll let you come in.
And along with the beer and the wine, you'll have other kinds of things going on, entertainment, auctions, all that?
Oh, we have hors d'oeuvres.
Yeah.
We also have a live auction. We were just talking yesterday. I think we've got 35 different lots.
Wow.
Of silent auction items, including 2 Chicago trips. We've got a Detroit weekend. We've got sports memorabilia. We got all kinds of local artisans that are doing things for us and have donated. And then we're doing entertainment as well.
So you got a little celebrity firepower
and
over
a
here.
little bit of a celebrity firepower guy, but
and he tries to roll his eyes and make it look like it's no big deal. But he's kind of a big deal here in West Michigan.
I roll my eyes at little.
Yeah. I'm a big deal. Brian Vander Ark, damn it.
Brian Vander Ark from the Verve Pipe here. Talk a little bit about your involvement with the Epilepsy Society, Brian.
I tell you what, this is a great charity. A lot of times I do a lot of charitable work. I try to, at least when you're a musician, and that's, you get
a lot of it.
We're not, we really do, but the fact is we can't give that much as musicians trying to make a living. But one thing we can do is donate some talent.
Yep.
So every year since I met Michael a few years ago, he's a friend of mine, and I've been doing this, and it's something that's been under the radar, I think, but needs to be brought to the forefront.
So you are going to be playing at this party, or
I am.
Is
I'm
it
playing acoustic music for a couple of hours, and it's always a good time. They keep me in spades with the wine, if you know what I mean.
Nice.
Yes.
So,
And I got to tell you what, from personal experience, Brian does these living room and backyard concert type things. My sister was the recipient of one. My brother-in-law booked him to come play at her house. It's amazing to see him simply play a guitar and do an acoustic thing.
It's really fun. I've
It's
been
worth
doing
everything.
that now for 7 years. It's
Have
just
you really?
Amazing. Oh, it's crazy. I did over 80 this year.
Wow.
This summer.
God.
Yeah, it's just nuts. Sometimes 3 or 4 a day.
And then you turn them into be a benefit like this,
That's right.
which is a great cause.
And honestly, when I do these kinds of backyard shows or I do these kinds of acoustic moments, it's getting back to my roots.
Yep.
Right.
I wrote all these songs on acoustic guitar, so it's a chance to revisit them on acoustic guitar. It's great.
It's a lot of fun, and you'll be there.
And I will be there.
Will you do
next
pictures?
Thursday
Will you do
night.
autographs? The whole everything?
No.
None of that.
Are you kidding? I live for that.
No, there'll be no.
I will sign anything.
Awesome. Well, Brian, it's nice to see you in here,
Good to see you guys.
good to see you doing your part to help these folks out. Gary, how about a last word about the big fundraiser coming up over at City Flats?
And one of the things too, and I understand we do a part of our live auction is Brian is also up for the live auction.
Ooh,
You're auctioning off Brian Vander. Somebody
he
gets
can
to
come
own
over
him.
he can come over and paint your house.
Yeah, there you go. Yes.
I'll do anything.
He does. Yes, he does have other skills.
Thursday, October 24th, starting at 6:30, and then I'm not sure when we're going to get kicked out of there, but it's City Flats Ballroom, and Brian Vander Ark being our guy with the entertainment, live auction, silent auction, and a whole bunch of beer and wine.
Good.
It'll be a good time.
Well, we hope everybody learns a little bit more about epilepsy and the great work you guys are doing. They can enjoy the Brian Vander Ark show and a lot of great beer and wine. That's next Thursday. We'll put this all up online, and we're going to continue to feature you for the whole month as our We Difference thing. You guys are doing great work, and we appreciate everything you do.
And we appreciate what you're doing for us.
All right, there you have it.
Thank you
Next
very much.
Thursday night, the Epilepsy Foundation of Michigan, their big ball over at the City Flats Hotel. All the details coming up online at WFGR.com.
Hey, West